Hello everyone, welcome to Fight for the Title. The NFL season is right around the corner, which means it's time for the season predictions to start rolling in from all corners of the internet. That includes my predictions and, wait for it, Madden 24 predictions. We're starting a series on this channel where I'm going to simulate every week through Madden 24 and have the game predict the outcome. Then at the end of the week, we will compare to see how accurate Madden's predictions are. Now with that out of the way, let's get into Madden 24 predictions for the week 1 of the 2023 NFL regular season. With the first matchup, the season starts between the Detroit Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs. In this matchup, Madden predicts the Kansas City Chiefs to win with a score of 38-0. You heard that right, 38-0. What an insane opening game prediction. The Lions have been hyped up all offseason to be a much improved team. Many people even have them going to the playoffs. Not a good way to start the season for them. However, what do you expect from the reigning Super Bowl champs? They're poised to have another good season. I don't know if this will be the outcome of the first game, but that's why they're Madden's predictions, not mine. In this game, the Chiefs outplayed the Lions in almost every category. They had 419 total offensive yards, 119 of that was on the ground and 300 in the air. Overall, a great way to start the season for the reigning Super Bowl champs. Game 2 of the season is between the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons. It was a fairly close match, but the Panthers were able to squeeze out a victory of 30-24. Even with the Falcons having a slight lead with the total yards gained, the Falcons absolutely destroyed in rushing yards with 234 yards on the ground. According to Madden, the running back room is going to be absolutely insane this game, and it went off. The Panthers led the passing yard category with 234 passing yards. Not too bad for a rookie quarterback in his first game. This game even went into overtime with the Panthers scoring a touchdown to end it. These two fan bases need something to be excited for, so this is a good way to start the season off with such a close game. The result of Game 3 should be no shock to anyone. The Houston Texans lost to the Baltimore Ravens with a score of 19-27. The Texans had a total yard advantage with 344 to the Ravens' 300, as well as a rushing yard advantage with 172 to 120. Which is surprising to me considering that Lamar Jackson is basically a running back. Somehow the Ravens led the passing yards category with only 180 yards, but they still came out on top to take the victory in Week 1. Game 4 was another close one between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cleveland Browns. The Bengals were also able to get a victory in overtime and win the game by 6 points with a score of 30-24. The Bengals came to show that they were the best team from Ohio. They also manhandled the Browns in almost every statistical category, with 432 total yards to Cleveland's 377. They had 149 rushing yards to the Browns' 121 rushing yards, and the Bengals also led with 283 passing yards with 23 first downs, which put them with 5 more first downs than the Browns. Now jumping into Game 5 between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Indianapolis Colts, the Jaguars handled the Colts pretty well with a final score of 27-10. The Jaguars led with 297 total offensive yards. Both teams had exactly 119 yards on the ground, and Trevor Lawrence had an okay day with 178 yards, but that was still enough to have more passing yards than the Colts, who put up a mere 122 passing yards. It looks like even Madden has the Colts struggling without Jonathan Taylor in the starting lineup. Game 6 might be the biggest upset of Week 1 for me. Madden predicts the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to beat the Minnesota Vikings in Minneapolis with a score of 23-17. The Buccaneers absolutely dominated with the total offensive yards in this game with 432 to Minnesota's 255. They also had 157 rushing yards to the Vikings' 65 rushing yards. The madness doesn't stop there, however, because Tampa Bay's offense put up 273 passing yards when Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, and the talented Vikings offense only put up 190 yards in the air. If a Baker Mayfield-led Tampa Bay team leads them to a victory by this margin, it is by far my pick for the biggest upset this week. Madden must love their overtime predictions this week because we have another one between the Tennessee Titans and the New Orleans Saints. The Titans fell to the Saints with a score of 24-30. The Saints ended up scoring a touchdown in overtime to come out with the victory. They also put up a solid 493 total yards of offense. Derrick Henry was doing Derrick Henry things with 192 rushing yards. He started off the 2023 season right where he left off the previous season. At the end of the day, it was a close game, but the Saints came out on top. Game 8 proved to be the battle of defenses. The San Francisco 49ers took on the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers were able to edge a victory over the San Francisco 49ers with a final score of 17-14. The 49ers had more first downs, and the Steelers only had 3 more total yards of offense. There were no points scored in the fourth quarter, so thanks to the Steelers' touchdown in the third quarter, they were able to come out with a victory. I can definitely see this as an accurate representation of how the game might go. Brock Purdy is coming off of an injury, and we don't know how he will perform at the start of the season. Both teams have solid defensive lineups, which could definitely keep the scores low in this one. Game 9 is a matchup that no one was really looking forward to, not even the fan bases for these two teams. This game was between the Arizona Cardinals and the Washington Commanders. It was another low-scoring affair, but the Commanders beat the Cardinals with a score of 14-10. This game doesn't need much discussion as both of these teams are not expected to be very good this season. I believe it could have gone either way, but Madden predicts the Washington Commanders to win this one. Game 10 is between two teams that have the most delusional fan bases when it comes to how good they think their starting quarterback is, which can only mean I'm talking about the game between the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. Do you have faith in Jordan Love? Because I don't, but apparently Madden 24 does because they predicted the Packers to win the game 28-23. The Packers led in total offensive yards with 349 and passing yards with 243. The Bears led in the rushing yards category with 139 rushing yards, most likely with 100 of those coming from Justin Fields. With that said, Madden still predicted the Packers to win by 5 points and puts a 1 in their win column. In Game 11, Madden really said, Broncos country, let's ride. This was the closest game of the whole week with the Broncos beating the Raiders with a score of 18-17. Apparently, Sean Payton was a good addition for Russell Wilson because he went off with 269 passing yards, which is pretty good compared to his statistics last year. It was also far more than the Raiders, who only had 176 passing yards. Even Jimmy G couldn't take down Mr. Subway Munchin, airplane exercising, feeling dangerous Wilson in Week 1. There wasn't a lot of flashy play in the next game between the Dolphins and the Chargers. Both teams fought it out well, but at the end of the day, the Chargers came out victorious with a score of 31-10. Both of these teams have fairly high expectations going into the 2023 season. I did expect it to be a little bit of a closer matchup, but the Dolphins only scored in the first and fourth quarter. They also turned the ball over 4 times, which hurt quite a bit, considering the Chargers have no turnovers in this game. When Game 13 rolled around, I was shocked. I said earlier that the Vikings-Buccaneers game had my vote for the biggest upset of the week, but I have to say this game gave it a run for its money. Madden predicts that the Patriots will upset the defending NFC champion Eagles with a score of 24-21. It was a close game, as many games are when Bill Belichick is one of the head coaches on the field. It's looking like this could be the start of a Super Bowl hangover for the Philadelphia Eagles. Besides the Chiefs, the Seahawks may have laid the biggest smackdown of any team in Week 1. They faced the LA Rams and won by a score of 26-7. After the Rams said F them picks, they are finally feeling the aftermath of that decision. The Rams got a Super Bowl trophy out of the deal, but now they are dealing with losing in blowout fashion to the Seattle Seahawks of all teams. The Seahawks had 352 total yards of offense, where the Rams only had 195. That is total yards of offense. Sean McVay should have retired when he was going to the first time. By the looks of it, it seems like they may still be rebuilding according to Madden's predictions. Game 15 was between the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants. Because of that, I'm going to keep it short. The insufferable Cowboys don't need any more undeserved coverage than they already get from the media outlets. Madden predicts that they beat the Giants 35-23 in Week 1. And with that, it brings us to the last game of Week 1, which is the matchup between the Buffalo Bills and the New York Jets. The best thing about Madden is that they don't talk about Damar Hamlin for half of every broadcast that the Bills are a part of. It's a heartwarming story that he's back, but he's also a backup defensive player and doesn't need any additional football coverage right now. With that being said, the Jets beat the Bills 31-28 in Aaron Rodgers' first regular season start with the New York Jets. Could this finally be the year for the Jets to take the division? Can Rodgers lead them to the promised land? Well, probably not. However, that doesn't change the fact that Madden believes they're going to start off hot with a win over the Bills. All of that even with the Bills having nearly 100 more total yards of offense than the New York Jets. Well, that's all of the Madden predictions for Week 1 of the 2023 season. In the next episode, I will be going over what Madden got correct in its predictions and what it got wrong. Let me know what you think of the predictions in the comments below, and leave a like if you agree with your team's predictions. Subscribe for more predictions and NFL content through the entire season. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.